Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and another batch of WWE 2K22 news is following the release of the WWE 2K22 hit list trailer and a full breakdown video that I did. 2K have sent along some additional details that I can share, plus there's also a few extra things that I noticed when editing that video, therefore I'm going to include those at the end of this video. Now, before I get into this, if you haven't already, go back and check out the breakdown video of the trailer, as there is so much info in there that you won't want to miss it, as this is probably the biggest info drop that we've ever had. So let's move on to the subject of this video, as 2K have sent along a few additional details as part of the press release. Now, much like the trailer itself, this press release goes through each of the 10 features on the hit list, starting out with the redesigned gameplay engine. This notes that the most important change in WWE 2K22 is the engine itself, as Visual Concepts have redesigned the gameplay and the animation engine from the ground up to make every dive, kick out and finisher feel as though if players were sitting ringside at WrestleMania. The press release then goes on to tease that players will feel the difference as soon as they pick up the controller. So this is something that is going to be a huge change, as the old engine that had been in use was pretty much the same engine that Yuke's created for the original SmackDown game, and because of that it's always been limited in what it could do or the changes that could be made to it. However, now that this has been redesigned from the ground up, this should really bring it up to date and open up a lot of new possibilities going forward. To give an example of what I mean by that, using the old engine, I was told by various developers over the years that there were only a set number of animations that could be added, which is the reason why some moves had to be removed in order for new ones to be added. However, now that Visual Concepts have rebuilt the gameplay and the animation engine, limitations like this should be a thing of the past. According to the press release, this year sees 2K add what they describe as an incredibly intuitive control scheme, which has been configured to ensure that players have more control over every move in every situation, whilst making WWE 2K22 easy to pick up and play and still allowing for high skill expression. Having not tried the game itself, I can't actually comment on whether or not this is something that they've achieved, as looking at the control layout, some things do look easier, but there's also a lot of button combinations in there, and I think new players may struggle with that. I'll probably do a follow-up video on this and go over the controls in more depth at a later date, so make sure to check out that video once that does go live. The press release then goes on to tout stunning graphics, noting that WWE 2K22 boasts the best graphics of the WWE 2K franchise, with scanning and animations executed using the same industry-leading process that Visual Concepts use with the NBA franchise, with the team also overhauling lighting from the ground up. Now, I can't argue with this point. Visually, I think the game is by far the best looking WWE game that we've had. It's a huge improvement over 20 and even 19 based on what we've seen, so they've definitely hit the mark with this one. The next point that we have is immersive presentation, with this claiming that the game is the most dynamic entry in the series, with the game looking to take players out of the crowd and into the ring, as 2K look to create an authentic WWE feeling throughout the game. As with the controls, this is something that I feel you won't really be able to see until you play the game, although from what I've been told, the developers have worked with WWE to ensure that they get the most accurate presentation they can, whether that be in regards to menus, camera angles, or how certain moves are presented. For the 2K showcase, the press release notes that players can take a walk down memory lane and relive a legendary WWE superstar's most iconic matches and moments. However, it doesn't state which superstar this will be. That said, for anyone who's seen the trailer, you'll have seen the clip of Rey Mysterio that was shown under the 2K Showcase heading, therefore that pretty much tells us that Rey will be the star of the 2K Showcase, which is something that I think a lot of us expected after he was featured in the original trailer. Providing details on the newly announced MyGM Mode, the press release reveals that players will be able to draft superstars, book matches, manage contracts, and hopefully prove that they have what it takes to run the most successful brand in sports entertainment. So there's not a lot of extra info here, but if you want to learn more about MyGM, check out the breakdown of the trailer, as I did cover a lot of the options that it holds. The next feature is MyFaction, with this being promoted as a franchise first, in which players will find themselves in control of building a legendary faction that rivals the iconic NWO. The press release notes that players can collect, manage and upgrade superstars, with a tease of weekly events and regular updates. Moving on to MyRise, this is the new name for MyCareer Mode, with the press release noting that players will have the opportunity to experience the journey of a WWE superstar from the humble beginnings of being a rookie, followed by the fanfare as a superstar, and then immortalised as a legend. The press release then goes on to note that new storylines will be available for both male and female My players, which makes it sound like we could see updates to add in new storylines over time. I will stress though that that is not confirmed, that's just what I envisioned from reading that sentence, as it seems odd to note new storylines, as obviously the mode itself will feature a completely new story to 2K20. Up next we have Universe Mode, which I'm sure a lot of people will be relieved to know is also returning, as I know that there's been a lot of questions about Universe and whether it would get removed to make way for MyGM. However, thankfully both Universe and MyGM are included. As for the features, the press release claims to offer players more control than ever before for their brands, pay-per-views, match results, rivalries and much more. If that doesn't excite you, again, check out the breakdown video that I did, as some of the footage may actually allude to a single player option this year, and maybe even the ability to select a GM. Last on the list of features, we have the Creation Suite, which is said to be back and better than ever, with the press release going on to note that players can be themselves or someone/something entirely different, with all sorts of wild options and fantasy elements, then step into the ring at any time, anywhere in the world. So that's all of the extra information that I was sent as part of the press release, although I do have a few extra things that I picked up on when I was editing the breakdown of the trailer, the first of which is the inclusion of an updated character model for Corey Graves. Graves' new model can be seen during the clip of Big E performing a dodge, as we see Corey's new model at ringside alongside Michael Cole and Byron Saxton. This footage would also appear to hint that that trio will be returning as the game's announce team, although that has yet to be confirmed. The other thing that I noticed was the presence of a few interesting crowd shirts, as during the entrance of Edge you can see two shirts for stars who have yet to be shown, one for Tamina and one for Nia Jax. The inclusion of Nia's shirt is an interesting addition, as her inclusion has been up in the air ever since she was released from the company at the beginning of November, although the presence of this shirt and the fact that Murphy can be seen during the MyRise cutscene means that she has a very good chance of making the final cut. So those were some of the extra things that I noticed when I did the breakdown video. However, I will be going into more detail on some topics and revealing some other secrets in additional videos, so if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on for that. Anyway guys, I'm about to lose my voice, so I'm going to end this video here, but let me know what you think of everything that's been announced so far and what it is that you're most excited for. Until next time though, thank you so much for watching, have yourself an awesome day. I'll catch you later.